Good morning, guys. What's going on? Oh, the old sun's just peeking over the hill here. Yep, down here on the old Dunedin Causeway. That's Honeymoon Island right over there. Yeah, you want a honeymoon, you want to go there. There's a park down here at the end. You gotta pay park, go down through, and you gotta get to the end. You can walk down there, but it's quite a long ways. If you're into nudist, into total sunbathing, yeah, you can get naked down there on the very end. I don't think it's legal, but they do it anyway down at the very end. That right there, that break right there, if you can barely see it, probably can't, but right over there's a break. That's Hurricane Pass. That's Caladesi Island over there, full of rattlesnakes and raccoons, and there used to be deer out and wild hogs out there at one time, way back in the day. I don't know if there's any deer out there anymore or not, but anyway, there's a station over there. There's actually right over there, there's a ferry system that takes you over for a little tourist trap. So what am I doing here this morning? Well, I'm trying to fish, and I caught my first little critter here. Let me get my grabbers here. It's called a hardhead catfish, and yeah. Talk to me. Don't want to talk to me this morning, huh? Yeah, they're a real pain, but there's lots of them, tons of them. This used to be a real nightmare back in the day. Let me get my grabbers. Handy dandy pliers here. These have got some extremely sharp and nasty barbs on them. There's one right there, and here's one here, and here's one here, and they will stick you, and you'll want to cry and want your mommy. Okay, so be careful of that. So what I'll do is come over here. I won't show you this, but what I'll do is lay him up here, and I'm going to cut him off right here and put his tail and feed the rest to the crabs. So that's what I'm doing. I've got today, let's reel this up. Get this up so we can work on it here. I've got a 4-ounce lead on the bottom. I've come up here to a 3-way swivel. This is all 44-pound, by the way. I was here a week or so ago, and I had a 30-pound main line here with 20-pound stations here, and anyway, I was getting bit off like crazy. The sharks were just tearing me up. So I put on, this is 44-pound steel leader. And so anyway, that's what I got going on here this morning. I've got a twist and a tangle up here on my Dacron. So anyway, I'm going to untangle this mess here and get back with you shortly when I make a catch. Okay, guys, got a little pigfish here. Actually, real good bait. I'm going to put him on for bait. Oh, those kale hooks. I like them kale hooks. They're a crazy looking thing. See how they sweep back? Caught a lot of fish on them things. I've caught that hook right there. I've caught 25-pound snook on it. I've caught 20-inch redfish on it. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna cut this guy up for bait and keep on fishing. All right, guys, got me a sail cat. Little different species. Same deadly weapons on it. Same deadly weapons, yep. Kind of like my little lip grabber thing here. Very handy. Talk to me. Talk to me. Talk to me. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, this thing has the same deadly weapons, guys. This sail cat has longer, that's how it got its name, is this longer, you can see these longer whiskers on the end of these deadly stickers. You get stabbed by one of these things, and you're gonna cry and want your mommy. All right, let me put this guy to bed and we'll keep on fishing. Maybe he's on a death wish, you think? A weed eater with a parachute on it. Why didn't I think of that? Okay. So far, I put on my lucky hat, okay? My lucky fishing hat. I don't know if it's lucky or not, guys. I just bought the thing about a week ago. So we'll see if it's any good. They're really chewing up my bait here. I hardly got any hits on that pigfish. So I switched it back over to mullet. Everything loves mullet. Except Miss Daisy, she doesn't like mullet for some reason. I don't know why. I was raised on that stuff. This is all that mullet I caught last November. It's been vacuum sealed all this time. Got quite a few packs of it. It's expensive if you buy it, and the quality of it still stays good after. I mean, you know, we've been in there since November, quite a few months. I got to get these things picked up, guys. Somebody's gonna step on one of these. Somebody's gonna step on one of these and really get hurt bad. So what I will do, put this in my bag here. That's what I got my ice this morning. So we'll chunk them. Got another package. I put a towel in here too, paper towel, and it sucks up all that moisture. Keeps it out of your machine. Whoops, I forgot a piece of bait in here. keep your bait covered up because the birds will get it. All right, I'm ready to go here. Speaking of bait, a couple boys out there chumming and getting some bait with a cast net. All right, let's get this thing back in the water. Can't catch fish out here on high ground. All right. Have me a shot of coffee. And we'll wait for another one. Isn't that ridiculous? All right, guys, back here at base camp. That fishing trip was kind of a fire drill. Last time I was there, I had 3 ripper sharks on that thing. You know, I say ripper, they're probably about 3-footers. Usually a bonnethead or black tip sharks. They're fun to catch. And but the water's getting so hot, they're just moving offshore a little bit. It's just getting crazy hot. And so anyway, I probably won't go back till the water cools off a little bit there. Probably November, I'm guessing, for that action. So I get into other projects. You know, mullet fishing is good around November 15th, somewhere in there. Then that goes all the way into January. So I enjoy that, cane poling and mullet. But anyway, I'm back here at base camp, and I put those fish, heads and all. I went and retrieved those heads. I threw the heads out in the bay, and I thought, no, it's going to come low tide, and somebody's going to walk down there and step on them things. Because that happened to me when I was a kid. I must have been probably, I don't know, 6, 8 years old. And I was with my dad. We were down on Courtney Campbell Causeway, the whole family. And I went running down the beach, and I hit one of those sail cats. It was buried completely in the sand, and its sticker was up. And I buried that thing in my heel, right, and it slammed and jammed into the bone of my heel. And I did a complete flip, and I'm laying on the friggin' beach, right? And I said, Dad, come here. He come over and he said, what in the heck? I said, I just stepped on this thing. And so he actually put his foot right on my belly, mind you. He tried to pull it out. Had one hand on the fish, and then one hand on my foot, and tried to. He didn't have enough leverage. That thing. He said, my God, this is buried into the bone. I said, yeah. Hurt like heck, man, I'm telling you. Almost, I didn't cry. I just, you know, but I wanted my mommy, I think, on that one. That's why I told you before, you're going to want your mommy if you get stuck by one of them. He put his foot right on my belly and grabbed that thing with both hands. He said, hang on. And he just did a pull, and thank God that barb did not snap off into my bone, because if it did, I would definitely be taking a trip to the emergency room, and you know, the infection. I'm surprised it didn't get infected. Of course, when you're young, you know, your immune system's really good. And yeah, that was a fun one. So anyway, I picked those heads back up, put them in the bait bucket, brought them home, and they are now out there in the chicken fly making bucket. And them things, that last batch I did a week ago, that stuff is all dried out. The maggots have already ate what they wanted to, and there was just a little sliver of bones in there. And they've already dropped through into that chicken bed, and those chickens have scratched all those out and ate them. So anyway, I reloaded the bucket with those 2 catfish and what was left of my mullet. And that thing's going to be swarming with flies here this afternoon. But anyway, Martin, you know, he dropped off that little 2-frame nuke here. And then he had to go north to Wolverine, back to his home, Wolverine. That's about, I think he said 40 miles south of the Mackinac Bridge in Michigan. And so he left it here, and that girl is hatched, and I have not been into it for a couple of weeks. I've been just keeping food on them. And I was walked by there yesterday, and the bees were coming in with pollen on their legs. So that is an indicator that hive is doing quite well. So that's a good thing. I'll be going into it here soon. We're going to make up more nukes here in a day or two. We're in between the new and full moon. That's good. And I've got a couple colonies, like I told you, over at that other yard. We've got to check those. And then we're going to get back in here. These double stacked jobs I've got out here are really going good. But Martin sent me something. He's got bees there. I think he said he has 16, 18 colonies out back. And guess what little friendly guy came into his yard? So let's observe the little Bruin here. Here he comes nonchalantly. He just thinks he owns the place. And you'll notice there's a bird feeder here. Now watch this. This is great. Oh, he looked up. He looked up. Pretty decent bear. He said, look at here. Oh, look at there. He says, I want that seed. Look at that. Now he's on this little branch here. Now check this out. Watch this. He's pulling it down. Boom. Broke the whole branch. About hit him in the head. Scared him, right? So he's coming back here in a second now. He's looking around. He said, well, that didn't hurt me too bad. I gotta come back here and check this out. Oh, look at him. He's coming back. He said, what's going on here? What happened? What the heck's going on? Huh. I know there's goodies in there. Yeah, there's bird seed in there, and that stuff is good eating. Yeah, let's just sit down here and have a snack, you know. Oh, licking his lips. Yep. He likes it. Oh, yeah. Yummy, yummy for my tummy. Now, pretty soon, the dog is coming. You hear the dog going crazy. Martin's going to come out of here in a minute with a baseball bat, I think. Look at that little bear. Boy, he just thinks he owns the place, don't he? Yeah, he's just having a little picnic here. Martin says, get your ass out of here, boy. Look at him, he's gone. He knows the rules. Now watch this. Look what's here now, guys. Martin's big bear hound. Yep. Martin, I think you better upsize them hounds. That guy there is a little, but he's feisty. Yeah, look at him barking. He was feisty, that little guy. All right. Yeah, Martin, you might want to upsize your bear hounds there with that. I've got a lot of good memories of bear hunting up there. Just the other side of the bridge, we used to go to Newberry. This was back in the late 60s, early 70s. And I hunted with a guy who was half Indian and half gypsy. His name was Ben Hart. That guy was the funniest guy that I've ever met in my life. He kept me bent with laughter all the time. That guy was he was so much fun to be around. But anyway, that was way back in the early days, and he had a little skinny wife. She couldn't have been weighed 90 pounds. He was a little short guy too. He had 11 children, and he had 60 hounds. 11 children and 60 hounds, yes. I had at the time when we were going up there, I only had 4 or 5 hounds. I had 15 at one time, and that was totally crazy. But old Ben, the whole family worked at Fisher Body in Mesa, in Lansing, Michigan. And that guy had more fun with him. Him and I used to go down to the Kenton Nationals down in Ohio, and we'd spend a few days there, turn around, come all the way back up, load up all the hounds. I'd take 2 weeks off from work, and we would take off for UP, Michigan, and we'd spend a week and a half up there hunting bears. And we must have taken at least 30 hounds with us. And there was an old camp out there he called the Slab. It was an old logging camp that they poured slabs on, concrete slabs, and they put up these big tents, and these loggers would live in these camps. Well, they were all, that was all history. They were gone. And this is where Ben went before he built his cabin up there. We would go there, and the tin cans and the trash, it was a huge trash heap. It was unbelievable. The whole thing looked like a junkyard all around the slabs. People would just eat food and tin cans and just throw it out there. And here we were in this junkyard. It was quite a sight to see, guys. I mean, but I had so much good memories of that up there, hunting with old Ben. Heart's Hounds, he called it. He was what we called a dog jockey. He would buy and sell hounds. He would train hounds, and but we mainly ran coon hounds, but in the lower portion of Michigan. But we every year we'd go up, and I did this for probably 4 years, 3 to 4 years, and then we'd go up one year in the middle of the deepest cold. We would snowshoe hare hunt and with hounds. And you had to have a long-legged hound because the snow was so deep it was ridiculous. You needed snowshoes, and we'd go up there and hunt snowshoe hare. But a lot of great memories of that up there in the UP, running bears. We actually got 6 bear one time in about a week and a half with our hounds. And back in the day, what we would do is go to the dumps. There was dumps all over, the open dumps. People would just come in, they take a bulldozer, open a great big hole, and you come in and you just dump your trash in that hole, garbage. Well, the bears would come in, and they had actually beaten trails coming in to this pit. So you could just walk down through there and you could see the trails. Well, we would take our best trail hound, and which was an old grade black and tan. He was, what the heck was his name? I forgot his name, that hound. But that hound was the best. He was an old grade hound. He was a big, blocky black and tan. And we would take him down those trails, and Ben would let him sniff each trail. And whatever trail the bears came in on that night was the hottest trail. And his name was Baller. That's right, Baller. And old Baller let out a long howl when he was on a hot lane. There would be about 5 or 6 lanes coming into this dump. And old Baller would throw his head back and let one rip. You could hear him for a mile. And Ben would say, get this one, because he knew they worked well with Baller. He knew these hounds. It was unbelievable how this guy, with as many hounds as he had, he knew every personality of every dog and who worked with who and this and that. The guy was incredible. He just had an instinct. And this guy he hunted with a Savage lever action 30-30, lever action 30-30 Savage. This guy was an instinctive shooter. You could throw a pie plate in the air and he could grab that gun and shoot it out of the air. It was unbelievable. He shot that thing with V sights, and they got broke off, so he electrical taped them on. I said, Ben, you sure that tape is good? I know my gun, he says. That tape is on there good. Yeah, I'm confident. I said, okay. The very first hunt I went on with him, we would dump, Baller would strike, and then we'd dump these other hounds in, and off they'd go. Well, I was one of the younger bucks. There was like 3 of us. We would get behind the bears, behind the hounds. And back in the day, you didn't have all these electronic collars and this and that, collars to where you could track them. Today, these guys have got, it's like a video game. They can just open their phone up and follow these hounds with their IP6, and because there's, and they got a that, and they've got a tracking device with a screen on it. You can see exactly where the bears are, or the hounds are, and what roads are ahead of you. We didn't have none of that in them days. We had like 5-mile square blocks or more. Usually square blocks have huge cedar swamps and beaver dams and just a nightmare of stuff that these bears would run through. Well, I would go in. I would take, first of all, grab a quick compass reading. That's all we had. We didn't have GPSs in the day. We had just a compass. Take a quick look at my compass, and where are the hounds? Here's your call. Here, you just put your ear, and then you listen to the hounds, and you follow those hounds, and you go as fast as you can go. Some of those cedar swamps up there, you could hardly squeeze between the trees. That's how thick they were in those cedar swamps. But that first year, they were lined out. Them hounds were lined out, and they were hot on that bear. And we're coming up on this road. I didn't know the road was there, and all of a sudden I hear a bam! One shot. So I kept going. All the hounds are quiet, so I just kept going. It wasn't that far, a couple 100 yards. I was there. I could move in the woods back in the day, guys. All I needed is some Snicker bars in my top pocket, and I would drink out of the creeks. That's all I did. You didn't wear canteens. You didn't do nothing in them days. I get out there, and here's a bear dead in the middle of the road. And old Ben's standing there with that 30-30 lever action Savage. He said, "You boys are a little slow today." I said, here I'd been running for a mile or so, or 4 miles straight. And old Ben grinning, "You need to step it up a notch." I said, I said, they were getting hot. I figured I'd catch him at the tree. They'd tree him. And but he never treed. He went out. That was always my hope, that I never got to see a bear in a tree. They were all shot on the ground, and most of the time was in front of Ben. But anyway, I went in there and shot him right through the neck. There was one round right through the neck and dropped that bear. And I went up and I said, "Where'd you hit him?" He's right in the neck. And his son was standing there. I said, "Boy, that was a lucky shot." His son, Tim, looked at me and said, "Lucky shot?" "No, he does this all the time. He is good. He's an instinctive shooter." I said, "Wow." And he did. That guy impressed me every time I turned around. With the way I never met a hunter that was quite as good as he was. Let's put it that way. And when it was time to deer season came, look out, the deer are going to drop. That guy was deadly, and he packed away a huge freezer, and they fed off deer meat and bear meat all year long. But anyway, I finally got a bear. I think it was the second year. Went in there, and we did a dog drop right in the dump, and all of a sudden the hounds just went crazy. Ben let out a bunch of hounds. It was right at daybreak, and they were just barking. They had one completely surrounded, and when I busted into there, I had a 30-30 lever action Winchester, and that thing was sitting on his butt, and he was swinging around and around. He was a big bear. He was 400 plus. He's swinging around and around trying to hook these hounds. He didn't even see me. I was within 20 yards of him, if that, and he's just ready to swat these dogs, spinning around and around. He spun around, and I caught him right there in the shoulder with that, and he just kept on spinning around and around and around. I emptied that 30-30 on that bear. He turned at me once, and I dumped 3 rounds dead center in his chest. He didn't go down. I thought, my God, what in the heck? and all of a sudden he fell over. And when I started shooting, the dogs just disappeared. They went. They didn't even stick around. They thought, we're out of here. And my bud Johnny come right up behind me, and that thing was laying on the ground with his teeth just snapping at me. And I told Johnny, I said, Johnny's sitting there with eyes as big as a deer. He was a deer in the headlights. I said, Johnny, shoot that SOB. And Johnny put one right through his neck and he killed him. But anyway, that's the year we got 6 bears, and quite an adventure. But yeah, seeing the Martin bear here just brought back the old memories. I had to stroll down memory lane with you guys on the bears. And but anyway, what we're going to do here now, we're going to make some tincture, elder tincture. I'm going to get this stuff. I'm just going to make, I think, the 1 quart. I maybe have a little bit too much berries, but that's fine. We'll load that thing up, make it really. So let's get set up on that and start making some elder tincture. Okay, guys, I got my frozen berries here. So we just kind of these little small stems are fine. So it takes a little while to process these down. But it's easier if you freeze them first. They'll pluck right off. And the stems are poisonous, but the little bitty stem that's a hook to the berry, that's fine. You can leave those on. This part here is, poisonous, but the little bitty stems are fine. You want to go out there and pull up health benefits or healing properties of elderberry tincture. Okay. So do that while I'm sitting here processing these. I've got a lot more out there, but I don't need to take any more. There's no need cleaning the swamp out, for the simple fact the birds are going to come in and start eating these. I've got plenty. See, it doesn't take long. I've got this whole bag here to do. And I need to buy some more quarts, wide mouth quarts. When you do this, get the wide mouth quarts and get plastic lids. So this 1 quart here is going to give me plenty. I've still got this from last season, this much here. This has got several months worth in here yet, and I use it every day. I mean, I'm doing dropperfuls. I'll usually put 2 dropperfuls in my tea. It's a great tonic. I put saw palmetto tincture in there also. A couple shots of that. So let me get this all processed here. I don't want to bore you to death with all this, so let me get back to you shortly. Okay, guys, I got my just a little better than halfway. It's going to be a really strong batch here. So we're going to get our Skull here, cheap Skull vodka, 100 proof. think I've been paying around $19 a bottle. All right, cap her off. Give her a shake. Look how pretty that stuff is, guys. Look at that. It's already got a real good purple to it. Now I want you to, don't get this stuff on you either. It'll stain everything that it touches. It'll be purple. Put a date on the top. Put a piece of masking tape on here and put elder and a date. Okay, because I want you to come back. I want you to come back in 8 weeks and strain this stuff off. I want you to shake it once a day, or you can shake it a couple times a day if you want, if you're really bored. But once a day is plenty. So do that, shake it every day, and keep it in a dark place. That's it. That's it. So start being like an old Steveo medicine man, and go out and don't be sitting around on the couch. Get out, even if you don't catch fish. Get out there and try it. Do some hunting, do some wildcrafting, do some gardening, do some beekeeping. Just keep busy, busy, busy as a bee, and stay away from these doctors, because they're getting to be a flippin' joke. We don't need all these doctors. We need doctors. If I fall in a pit of crocodiles and one grabs my leg and does one of those death rolls and takes my leg off, hopefully, you know, just below the kneecap, you know, so that way I can get Captain Ahab whalebone leg and put on there, you know, so I can keep on trucking. And so yeah, let's stay away from. You need doctors in case I do fall in that croc pit, and they're going to have to trim me up and give me that leg. But other than that, you know, just stay away from them. You know, it's like, what did Barnum Bailey say once? There's a sucker born every day and 2 to take him. Yeah, so that's basically what we got going on today. So check out the health properties of this puppy here. I think you're going to like it. I take it every day along with my other tinctures. I got a whole bunch of tinctures up in here that I take. I take moringa. I do my moringa capsules every day. I take 4 of those, 2 in the morning, 2 at night. It's got health, you know, health benefits plus cancer killing benefits. Stay away from the doctors, guys. All right. We'll get into the bees here probably in a few days, so we got to get that done too. We're going to stay busy all summer. I don't care if it's hot out there. Get out there and get her done. Catch you on the next one, guys. Be happy, be strong, as you know it. We got to keep getting her on. See ya.